Welcome to the Numberminds YouTube channel. This is our second video and we're moving into Word today to help you look at tables in a new light. So let's start. Standard Word document, nothing fancy about it. We're going to insert a table. So if you select Insert from the ribbon and then Table by left clicking, and now I'm not currently pressing any keys, but I can draw my mouse over this grid and it will actually see how many rows and columns I actually want. So let's go for a 4x4. Now you'll see within the ribbon this has appeared, this table tools. So you've got design and you've got layout. The design will give you these table styles and you can color it any way you want, or you can just use the ones that Microsoft have provided for you. You've got the shading options here and also the borders here. So if you wanted to get rid of all the borders, you just select the table, click on the borders down arrow and say no border. But for the purpose of this we do at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an invoice. So first things first, we're going to create a title. So I've highlighted by just left clicking and holding and dragging the mouse across the first row, and we're going to merge these cells by going to layout and selecting merge cells. So this is going to be invoice for Mr. Smith, September 2013. Now within a table you always get the option to use the font and the increase in font sizes and colouring and everything you want. So let's say we're going to turn the title into red, we're going to embolden it, and we're going to increase the font size, and then we're going to centre it. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to have product description, cost, markup, and cost to customer. Now I'm just tabbing between these particular cells, but if you want to insert more rows, you just go to layout and say insert below or insert above. Either way. So we're going to sell Mr. Smith a printer, a computer, a monitor and a keyboard. So the cost of the printer to us is £65, the computer is say £250, the monitor is £90 and the keyboard is £8.75. So the percentage of markup we want to apply, and again these are fictional, let's say 50% for the printer, 100% for the computer, 90% for the monitor and 150% for the keyboard. Now, simple stuff so far. Now this is where it gets complicated because within Excel, I know we're moving applications, within Excel you've got rows and columns, and the columns are labelled with letters and the rows are labelled with numbers. Exactly the same here within the table, but you don't see it. So if we were to click on Formula, that's on the Layout tab, you'll come up with Sum Left. Now that will sum up everything, and if we were to click OK, it would come up with 65.5. Now that's something we don't want. So you can see how I've selected within the figures there, and this area is grayed. That indicates that it's a field. So if we were to click in there, we can actually get rid of that calculation and say I'm interested in column B, and it's row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So B5 plus B5 times C5. Now what that's doing is it's giving me the cost plus the calculation of what the markup is. And on the number format here, we can actually change that to currency. And click OK, and that's what the figure is. So if we quickly repeat that for the other ones there, so that is going to be B6 plus B6 times C6. And again, change the format to that, and get that. And if we would do it again, B7 plus B7 plus C7. Oh, sorry, it's times C7 times C7. And change the number format. We do it again here. Very simple. So again, I'm tabbing to increase more rows. So what we're going to do now is look at creating the VAT, which is at 20% in the UK. So we're going to go to Formula and we're going to sum up the cost to the customer and add 20%. So open bracket. So this is D1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D5 plus D6 plus D7 plus D8 times 20%. And again, remember to change the format to that. So that's what the actual VAT is going to be. Now, we want to know what the total is. So the total, we can try and do a formula which will sum above, sum all those figures, but there's gaps in the data. Now you could put a 0 in there and it would work, or we could do what we should really do is D5 plus D6 plus D7 plus D8 plus D10. And remember to change the formatting. And that's how much the invoice actually is. But we're not done yet. So we mentioned earlier that we may not want the actual grid line, so we can highlight the whole thing and go to the design and say, right, well, what's the nicest design that we've got? So we could go for that, and then we look at the font, and we don't really like the color of that, so we'll change that to white. And then we can go with this and say, actually, we need to change it from a serif font through to, say, Calibri. And we want to make this a little bit bigger to draw his attention to the fact he owes us some money. So by simply looking at these in terms of a simple calculation and adding a simple level of formatting, it's looking a much more professional piece. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you've got any queries, then please do get in touch via the website at www.numberminds.com, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I promise to send more YouTube videos in the near future.